Wednesday, September 3rd, 1800, at the home of Captain John. Present as yesterday, Captain William Claus, Acting Deputy Superintendent General, Lieutenant Givens, Agent, Indian Affairs, Lieutenant McQueen, Queen's Rangers, Mr. David Price, Interpreter, Mr. Nathaniel Lyons, Interpreter, Mr. Ferguson, Kingston, P. Selby, Assistant Secretary, Indian Affairs, with the chiefs and other of the Mohawk Indians residing there, and the addition of Lieutenant Pierre-Michel Fortier. Captain Isaac spoke as follows.
Brothers, I only want to say a few words. It is to know how you received this bad news and from whom you received it.
I heard it as I have always been accustomed to hear news, that is, from the head of the village, and I had come down to make a particular inquiry into the business that I might be satisfied of the truth.
I will tell you, brother, the whole business in a very short time. There was some money brought from Albany, namely $500 by Captain Brant and $500 by Captain John for the payment of the land sold to the American government on the Mohawk River. When Captain John arrived here, we inquired whether he had sold the lands and brought the money, and what news he brought with him. Captain John answered that the Americans and us are different people, and are not fond of communicating any news to us, knowing we belong to a different country. We then asked John what he had done in the business he went upon, and he answered, it would do very well for a messenger to be questioned in that manner, which he did not consider himself to be. We heard what money he had brought, and that he had made away with the greatest part of it, which made a great riot in the village. This was 3 years ago last spring. Sometime after that, Captain John went to Montreal, and no one knew on what business until he returned, when he held a council with the whole village except me. Captain John told them he had assembled them, and that it would be for the last time, and he hoped they would consider well what he was going to say. He told them a chief who had the care of a village should be the man of sense and good conduct, to lead the people in a proper manner and instruct them in what was right. He then desired that all of them should speak their minds freely, and not hang down their heads as they had always done, but to speak out and have no secrets among them. And after making this speech, he quitted the council and would have nothing more to say to them. 2 years afterwards, the young men of the village met, and I was with them, and we appointed chiefs of the village, at which time Lawrence, one of the men who was killed and who was half-brother to me, said, as they could get no satisfaction from Captain John for the money he got at Albany, they would take his property and sell it, as they were determined to get as much as they could from his property. Every time we met, Lawrence was always repeating this, and further said, if Captain John resisted, he would settle him, as he was a very great thief. I told Lawrence he would not repeat these things so often, that it was of bad consequence to threaten in that manner, and that he had better drop the matter, and take no further notice of it, as the loss of money was of no consequence, but a life was of great value. This was all that happened at that time. Last summer, I and part of the Mohawks went down to Lower Canada and held a council with the 7 nations of Canada at Lachine, from whence they went to Sir John Johnson, where we received presents. Lawrence was dissatisfied with what he received and applied to Mr. Chu to give him more, which Mr. Chu refused, saying he had no authority, though he, notwithstanding, gave him some trifle. Lawrence was nevertheless dissatisfied, it being so trifling. We then came off from Lachine to return home, and conceived that Lawrence was dissatisfied the whole way up. The people of the village on the arrival of our party desired they might meet and hear what had been done in Lower Canada, and they met accordingly, except Lawrence, who did not, being satisfied, would not appear in the council. Last spring, I and my people appointed a meeting to be held on Easter Sunday for the purpose of erecting a sawmill on the Indian lands. After the council, the people stayed at my house that they might be in readiness to go to put up the mill the next day. And in the morning a messenger was sent up by Captain John, saying if we attempted to build a mill, it would not be good, as he was going to build a mill there himself. When we received that message, we said we would drop it, as it would occasion confusion among them. And as they were 2 rapids, we would take the upper one, as we did not wish to make any disturbance. On the 4th of June, I assembled my people, and Captain John assembled also his people at different places and made themselves merry. The next day, John, Miracle, and Seth went into the plains to hunt up horses and met Lawrence. Lawrence struck Miracle severely with a stick 3 times. On the 9th June, I met Lawrence's son Thomas and desired him to tell his father not to make a practice of beating people when he met them in the woods, for that was not our ancient custom, and desired him also to tell his father if he made a practice of beating people, he might repent it. And Lawrence sent back an answer the same day that it was very well. That was what he wished for. I sent my Negro boy the same day for some seed corn to Sept's house and desired him to avoid Lawrence for fear of accident. Notwithstanding this precaution, the Negro boy and Lawrence met, and Lawrence desired him to tell me to appoint any place he thought proper, and Lawrence would meet me. Lawrence added, "If you do not tell your master this, I will kill you the first time I see you, and if he does not send me a message back, I certainly will kill him. And if he does not point out a place where we are to meet, I will do for him the first time I meet him." Lawrence was not drunk, and if Merkel had not run away when Lawrence struck him, it was his design to have killed him upon the spot. When my Negro boy delivered me the message to appoint a place to meet Lawrence, he was much affected, and after considering some time that it was a matter of great consequence, I took my sword in my hand. Very early in the morning of the 10th June last, I sent my black boy to Lawrence to inform him I had appointed a place of meeting which was halfway between our two houses, and that soon after the Negro boy returned with an answer from Lawrence saying he was ready. I then got up and went to meet him, 3 others with me. When we came to the place appointed, no one was there, but in the course of a little time Lawrence and 2 others appeared and did not appear to be armed. I then told my men, about 5 minutes before Lawrence arrived, that they were not to interfere in the matter at all, that me and Lawrence would decide the matter ourselves, and that by no means were to interfere in the business. When I and Lawrence met, we mutually saluted each other and said good morning. I asked Lawrence if he had received the message I had sent him. Lawrence said he had, and told me I was always abusing his sons, and immediately came up with a stick and knocked me down, so that the sword I had was of no use to me. I hoped to have settled our differences by speaking to Lawrence, but I was struck down so suddenly I had not an opportunity. After laying some time, I got up and was knocked down again with the same stick, and also a 3rd time in the same manner, after which I was incapable of getting up. But when I recovered and looked round me, I saw the ground bloody, not knowing in what manner it came there.
Adjourned till the next day, Captain John wishing that time to prepare to speak.